Hello, and welcome to this week's Movie Math, where I gotta say, while things certainly aren't back to normal and Hollywood continues to grapple not just with a pandemic, but the new age of streaming, things are still looking pretty darn good. Let's start with Eternals, which easily held on to the top spot with no real competition at the multiplex. I mean, it could have lost out to Clifford if things had been really bad. But you know, things aren't really bad, interestingly enough. It has the second best second weekend drop for a pandemic blockbuster, falling just 61%. That almost has a 5 in front of it, despite poor critic and audience scores. That puts the MCU flick at 118.7 just 2 weeks out, and that means it's already in the top 10 domestic for the year. I mean, it's not a great top 10, but this Eternals is in it in just 2 weeks. If Eternals can withstand some serious blows in the next few weeks, it's then set to debut, it's been announced, on PVOD and Disney Plus simultaneously, a la Shang-Chi, more on that in a moment, and is likely to end up being another big moneymaker across the Disney empire. That's the thing with Disney. They don't just need these movies to deliver at the box office, and they have other opportunities to deliver besides the box office. They want to drive fan experiences at the theme parks, merchandise, the streaming service. So Eternals is finding its groove. Marvel fans, once again, you done good. Now, are Chloe Zhao and her movie saved? I think that's going a bit overboard, a bit too far. And the trades have not confirmed those fringe rumors. I don't know why that rumor took off the way that it did. I think people wanted to believe it. Because Chloe Zhao certainly has her supporters. But you know, the idea that Kevin Feige had her at the top of his list to direct Star Wars, his Star Wars movie. I mean, he might, but that's such a hot story. That's such a hot rumor. I think the trades would have confirmed. When you have something like that break from outside sources early in the day, the trades will usually confirm it by the end of the day. Especially because if that was true, Kevin Feige would love to have everybody hear about that so that it would promote Eternal's second weekend. Maybe, did it in a way? I don't think so. I don't think the story got that much traction beyond social media. Because I think it's pretty clear that would be just overkill. That would be overkill for him to try and save face and to back up Chloe Zhao. Because with a Rotten Tomatoes score like this, you don't give that person the Star Wars movie. Star Wars is a tough gig. You really want to put your best foot forward. I think the best that Chloe Zhao can hope for is Eternals 2, which, to be honest though, with these numbers, and if Chloe Zhao is willing to take notes to add action and, you know, maybe work a little bit more, she very much, I hear, marches to her own beat. And I think that benefits her artistically, but I think that I don't think she's getting the benefit of the Marvel machine. So I think if they can really marry those two and be like, see, Chloe, it does help to kind of like have 1 foot in our camp and 1 foot in your own, then maybe Eternals 2 could be like amazing and fix the problems that exist. Because I think there's something there, as I said in my review. I just don't want to watch it again. But I do want to see these characters again. So I would consider Eternals 2, and I would actually consider Chloe Zhao to direct it. It's amazing what a difference a week can make. And yes, let's back up here and highlight something fascinating. While Disney has worked to protect the theatrical experience, they're waging war on premium video on demand because they have their very own subscription video on demand service. So they want to kill premium video on demand. I did not see that coming. That's fascinating, but it makes perfect sense. So this weekend, viewers were asked if they wanted to buy Shang-Chi for $20 over on premium video on demand, which, to be fair, that's an option a lot of people chose because it's in second place on iTunes. Or do you want to stream it on Disney Plus for $7.99 a month? $1.99 a month for at least 1 month. If you sign up, by the way, that deal ends midnight Pacific Standard Time tonight. So if you want that $1.99 Disney Plus for a month deal, go sign up for it right now. But I don't know. I guess it all depends on what you want. If you feel you have a digital movie collection and if you don't feel you truly own it, if you get it on a streaming service. I mean, downloading it from the cloud, in my opinion, is downloading it from the cloud. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel that having it on a digital PVOD like an iTunes service is different than having it on Disney Plus? Disney Plus wants the answer to that to be no, there is no difference except price. Come on over. And they need you to come on over because subscription video on demand is a serious business in Hollywood. It's turning out to be the new moneymaker after VHS sales. Digital killed VHS sales. VHS and then DVD was like the big moneymaker in Hollywood. That's where they got all their money from. But then it went away because of streaming. But they finally found a way to replace it thanks to Netflix, which is interesting because Netflix almost went out of business because studios took back all their content from them. You gotta love evolution. So anyway, Disney Plus subscribership is slowing down. Slowed down last quarter significantly. And that's the main reason that Disney stock dropped this week after the investor call on Wednesday. Bob Chapek, no Christmas decorations in the restaurants and the parks, Bob? Really? That's so annoying to me. That's infuriating. Add it to the long list of infuriating things he's doing. I don't think him waging war on PVOD is infuriating, though. But he has to keep dreaming up, he and his team, ways to keep people subscribed and to get new people to subscribe, which is why he also promised this week that we haven't seen the last of Disney day-and-date theatrical and Disney Plus releases. Oh, those are going to come back, he says. And I'll be curious to see which movies he chooses to do that with. Pixar's like, stay away from us. All right, so as for the rest of the top 10, the only movie that dared open in theaters opposite Eternal's second weekend was Clifford the Big Red Dog. That Clifford, he's got Big Red. You can finish the end of that sentence. All right, which hit theaters on Wednesday and is actually up to 22 million already. That's more than Ron's Gone Wrong, which I hear is fabulous, but that's more than that movie made in 4 weeks in theaters. That puts Clifford the Big Red Dog as a very strong family opening movie. Cruella isn't even really technically a family film, but that's how strong Clifford is. It's much better than all the other family, openings. So wow, let's do Arthur next. That's what if I was head of Paramount, that's what I'd be doing. And kudos to Venom 2, which has become the second movie of the pandemic to cross 200 million domestic. Domestically, it's going to match the original, which is incredible. Incredible! Although globally, it's still way behind. No Time to Die is doing very well overseas, though, interestingly enough. We'll get to No Time to Die in a moment. Awards contender Belfast also debuted in limited release this weekend and did okay. But come on, who's going to go to a theater to see that? I can't wait to see it on streaming because it has very strong audience scores. The trailer looked amazing. The trailer made me cry already. And it has a bright future, I think, therefore, on digital and maybe even the award circuit. Can Jamie Dornan follow in the footsteps of Robert Pattinson, who's following in the footsteps of Leonardo DiCaprio? Maybe he can. I like Jamie Dornan. I would like to see him succeed. I also like Dakota Johnson, to be honest with you. I think they're actually both quite talented. And remember, Digital Hollywood did a great job counter-programming Eternals. And while Eternals still did well, so did the competition. Everybody did well. That's right. Today we're going to do our streaming breakdown backwards. We'll do Nielsen last. So on iTunes, sure enough, No Time to Die, debuting Tuesday for a $20 rental, shot to number 1. Was there ever any question? And it still only dropped 23% at the box office this weekend. That's incredible. And has joined F9 in the pandemic 700 million club. That's the new $1 billion club for now. Although, I laugh, but it's not funny because no other Hollywood movie is even close to those two, which is incredible. Again, Shang-Chi to purchase is runner-up, but Jungle Cruise is now no extra cost on Disney+, but is still back in the top 10 thanks to a price point now of $13 to purchase. That's a very good price. But do you feel like you don't own it if you just watch it for free or no extra cost on Disney+? Do that many people not have Disney+? Do you not have Disney+? Everything's on there. All right, so anyway, with Free Guy and Old Henry still doing very, very well, while Bruce Willis continues to carve out a nice living for himself, even if it is at the cost of the dignity of his career. And on Netflix, Red Notice is the biggest opening day ever for any movie on the service. Oh boy, I'm so happy for that movie. I can't wait to see Netflix's new revised all-time movie chart in the next week or so. How fast are they going to rush that out? I suspect early this week. The movie might have bad reviews, but I thought it was a lot of fun. If you checked out my review, please do. I thought it was a good time, particularly on streaming. And hey, we all knew 3 stars, these 3 stars at no extra cost on Netflix was going to be a slam dunk. And it was. Will they do a sequel? That's, I think, the very interesting question. I really wonder if they will. Love Hard is still doing very well on the service, as is The Harder They Fall, and fellow awards hopeful Passing had a strong debut. While Arcane, I'm going to do a spoiler review of Arcane when this season finishes, and one other video I have planned for Arcane. So don't worry, more Arcane coverage coming. But they finally caught up to the adult version of Jinx with episodes 4 through 6, and now it's trending in top 10. I want Arcane to be a huge hit. I was very sad that it didn't really do well last week, but now we're starting to cook with gas. Squid Game and You are both still hanging on as well. Maid fell out of the top 10, but Squid Game and You are still there. Squid Game, still in the game. Now we go back in time to the second week of October over on Nielsen, where Squid Game at this point was still blowing away the competition. Look at these watch time numbers. You debuted very strong right behind it. Then there's the third member of Netflix's Holy Trinity, Maid. And then look at the drop-off for the rest of the shows. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's just nuts. Wow. As for the movies that week, Black Widow at no extra cost stayed at number 1 for the second week in a row, while Hocus Pocus, which was at the bottom of the top 10 last week, shot up to second place. That was fast. And everyone's other favorite Halloween movie, again on Disney+, The Nightmare Before Christmas, also popped into the top 10. Okay, what's there to watch this coming week? A lot, as everyone's positioning themselves for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. It's pretty much like a whole week, the week after this, but people want to get out ahead. So I think my big question for you is, are you going to watch any of this right away, or are you holding any of this for Thanksgiving? Keep that in mind. It's quite a feast. And again, there's more stuff next week too. So wow, we're going to have a lot of leftovers in our streaming fridge. So Sony is trying to get audiences to pay attention to Ghostbusters Afterlife, even though the only things audiences want to ask Sony about is Spider-Man No Way Home, which is too bad because Ghostbusters Afterlife is really good. I hope that next week on Movie Math I'm able to talk to you about how well it opened. And Will Smith Awards contender King Richard will hit theaters and HBO Max on Friday, as well as Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is theaters only. I think King Richard, I'm very excited for that. I'm going to review that later this week. I hope that trends. I hope people really watch it wherever they can and it gets a lot of attention. I think he might actually win the Oscar this time, which would be fantastic. On streaming, Netflix has a huge week. Huge! Tiger King 2, The Princess Switch 3, another South Korean show, Hellbound, awards hopeful movie Tick Tick Boom, and Cowboy Bebop. Oh my God! And then there's more after that from other services. Paramount Plus starts The Mayor of Kingstown tonight. Jeremy Renner is going to have 2 streaming shows simultaneously. If I were Disney, I'd be a bit miffed about that. The new season of Star Trek Discovery starts off this week too. Amazon has the first 3 episodes of The Wheel of Time, and Hulu has Marvel's Hit Monkey. I don't know if anyone go watch that. And then also, the entire season 2 of The Great will drop at once. That's such a fantastic show. It doesn't drive a lot of chatter though, so I believe that will be a leftover for a lot of people. But make sure you eat it. That's an excellent show. And so that's this week's Movie Math. How do you feel about Eternals in week 2? And what do you think of Disney's war on PVOD? And what have you been watching, and what do you plan to watch? Again, what are you watching now, and what are you saving for Thanksgiving and beyond? Wow, I started to make a list of things I want to catch up on. But, it's hard sometimes because there's just so much stuff coming down the pipeline after that. It's rough out there. All right, share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.